Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Impact Wrestling review. A lot of things happened on the show tonight. As we kick it off, pretty much in a parking lot segment, or from earlier today, Matt Sydal and Josh Matthews were entering the Impact Zone until Austn Arries came up and asked about the whole Grand Championship thing, and that Arries congratulated Matt Sydal when the X Division champion. But Sydal says, he could feel Arries' energy of wanting that belt and wanting to take it away from him. And Sydal said, I don't give belts away, but Arries pretty much said that, it's about the whole option C thing that Austn Arries came up with in TNA many years ago. And he said he wasn't disrespecting the X Division or anything. He was trying to create an opportunity for them when he made option C for the world title for using that to give the X Division title to get that world championship. But Arries felt their cheat coming on, and he offered Sydal an opportunity. And he said he doesn't want the X Division champion because I've been the X Division champion longer than anybody else and had it multiple times. He says he wants the Grand Championship. I have not won that title since Josh Matthews holds it. Sydal agreed on it then. We then kicked it off pretty much in a way of a spot fest, as some would put. And this was a second spot fest. Well, second fatal 4-way. If you want to go from cruiserweight to X Division, it's the second one I've seen this week since I went to check it on 205 Live. It was Petey Williams versus Suicide, which we still have this guy around for some reason, even though it was from the video game for TNA many years ago, and it's not. I don't know who Suicide is at this point. It ain't T.J. Perkins, so I honestly don't know who Suicide is at this point. Rahit Raju and Taiji Ishimori. Don't get me wrong, it was a good match. It was a spot fest, of course. Petey Williams won, which pretty much made sense. And then he says he was cashing in his briefcase for the X Division title at the pay-per-view Redemption coming up in April in the next few weeks. So that was going to go down. Like I said, that's for the Fatal 4-Way. It was a spot fest. Sometimes they've gotten the X Division right better nowadays, actually having legit feuds and singles matches instead of throwing these guys in multiple spot fests in the beginning of the show. Yes, this was one of them, but at least it doesn't happen as often as it does. And I know some people would say between 205 and X Division, the X Division actually were getting better than 205 at a point in time. I know 205 is trying to get better now themselves, but the X Division was actually beating them for a very long time because they actually were building the X Division instead of throwing them around, throwing them in random ass spot fest matches and even putting the title on the line. We just went to Eli Drake. Since he didn't have a tag team partner for this whole briefcase thing, he had an idea on what this whole tag partner thing was going to do, so he walked off then. They talked about Lucha Underground versus TNA, which is actually next Friday, I believe. On the Twitch TV. It's going to be a lot of wrestling. Oh, come on, we got a lot of wrestling next week, so get ready for that. And it's going to be several shows, including that one. And it's kind of weird they actually, mentioned EC3 saying it would not be a WrestleCon, which, if you want to look at this from a continuity standpoint with EC3, I already know I talked about him, being fired from Impact and everything, but I will say it was kind of, like I said, a continuity thing where he's fired off of Impact last week, and then this week he shows up on NXT then, which, like I said, we already knew he was there, but in a way like a continuity thing from being off the Feast of Fire, literally just going to another company to wrestle in. So pretty weird looking from a continuity standpoint. Braxton Sutter introduced Su Young. I guess people say she's the undead bride or whatever, and went against Amber Nova. Pretty much a squash match. Nothing much to say here. I know people are gonna compare her to Rosemary a lot, which will probably be a match sooner or later. I still don't know why Braxton Sutter is in this, but it's almost like you're putting a zombie against another zombie in this thing. So we'll find out where that goes soon enough. Johnny Impact talked about his goals around here and how he has not become the world champion yet. And until Jimmy Jacobs showed up and talked about Impact, no long idea what his goals are, and Johnny talked about his emo haircut, and Jimmy Jacobs talked about Congo Kong, his monster, of course, and talked about Johnny Impact wanted to know what he wanted, and he'll say Congo Kong says hello. I guess it's gonna lead into a match with these two, since they were talking about each other, so at least it gives them something after, Congo Kong being a bitch last week in the Monsters Ball. We don't need to talk about that anymore. Taya Valkyrie was walking around, pretty much cutting a promo on Rosemary, so I've beaten her anywhere, any place, and when she's cutting a promo walking, they show the camera up top, and Rosemary is walking on the roof of one of the trailers, throwing a trash can at Taya out of nowhere, and just chucked it at her, and as she brawled with her, she hit some random guy in a shirt, Impact shirt, and as they brawled with each other, Taya knocked Rosemary into a trash can. Richard Justice, the standby wrestler, pretty much tried to hold Taya back, and as Taya pretty much knocked Richard Justice, then she tried to go back after Rosemary, but Rosemary hit the mist in her eyes, then pretty much attacked Amber Nova, who was already trying to heal from a match with Su Yung after, trying to heal. Taya started grabbing her then, and then other wrestlers that came over to break it up until Rosemary did a crossbody from the top of one of the office trailers on everybody, and pretty much took the mist off of Taya and wiped it on her, pretty much doing a crazy laugh. So I like this backstage segment. I thought it was really good. It was pretty cool. It continues the feud in a way. So I thought it was kind of crazy that she just randomly walked on the roofs as Taya was talking, but this does do better. One thing they should really stop doing is this weird independent footage, which, what was it, from WrestlePro, and what was it, in Brooklyn or something? I don't know where this was, but it was Fallah Bahh versus KM, and nothing much to say here. KM won, and KM just say his fat ass, but I didn't understand what the point of this, didn't really care. Brian Cage went against Bobby Lashley, which was a really good match, number one. I wish the crowd could have been a bit more enthusiastic than all of this, and stuff. They probably, I don't know where it's going, and they said the crowd should have been more hyped for this match between these two giant guys kicking the shit out of each other, especially if Lashley and Brian Cage are just pulling off hurricanranas as big as they are, is pretty impressive. I liked this match. I thought the finish was kind of a bit out of nowhere and odd, with Brian Cage and Bobby Lashley with a lariat. This is there just to pick up a clean win over Lashley too. I know some, but I don't know if this is the last time you'll see Bobby Lashley here. I don't know how much footage is with him left. I understand he was gonna put him over, and this was a really good match. Just the crowd didn't really were into this whole thing. And I know Cage hit the drill claw or something, could have hit the Weapon X like he did in Lucha Underground, but he didn't. But yes, the crowd should have been, more hype for two giant big guys kicking the living shit out of each other. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if this was Lashley's last time in the company in that. I don't think he has re-signed a contract. I know a lot of people already say he's going to WWE, which is the rumor right now. I don't know if this was, like I said, I don't know if this is the last one, but I understand if why he put Brian Cage over though. But like I said, the match was good with these two. So yeah, we'll see what happens next. It's kind of weird just so they finally got Lashley back in the better of things. But I feel like another match needs to happen with these two. This was really good. Gail Kim, I guess she's like a producer now in the back. I guess was putting on makeup, and Allie was talking to her about the whole Su Yung Braxton Sutter thing. And Gail told her to stand up for himself, and Allie left inspired. They showed a flashback moment of an Ultimate X match, which AJ Styles, Pete Williams, and Chris Sabin. But some people don't understand these with these back this I don't know what he's not independent, but the Global Wrestling Network. Some people said why Bobby gonna put half most of the full not full match, but most of the match up there to the win at this. I don't know why. It's a lot of things. I don't even have it, but it's a lot of discussions and all that. Eli Drake tried to take Moose's briefcase, but Moose did not want to give it up, and he tried to convince Moose you can see with Eddie Edwards, but Moose said, I would do a briefcase versus briefcase match, and Drake said, why we gotta fight? And Moose said, you wanted it, and if I win, I take yours, you win, take mine. Eddie Edwards was in Ohio looking for OVE, and he went to some independent wrestling show in Ohio. As the crowd chanted OVE, Eddie Edwards just took a kendo stick and kicked the shit out of anybody he saw with the kendo stick, breaking it nearly in half on everybody. And he told Sami Callihan he wanted him right now, or he will fight all of Ohio right here, right now. Sami Callihan then came out with his baseball bat as the crowd chanted everything. Then Eddie Edwards pretty much had to fight the rest of OVE, who kept trying to beat him up, and they held him up, and Callahan was gonna hit him in the eye hit him somewhere with the baseball bat, but Eddie Edwards kicked him in the nuts and took the baseball bat and started beating up OVE with it. Sami Callihan was able to pretty much get back on after he hit Eddie Edwards in the eye after he went after the rest of the OVE. And then as they held him up, Callihan hit him with the baseball bat right in the face or jaw or in his head somewhere. Kayfabe, really. And then the rest of the Chris brothers pretty much hit him with a spike stomp pile driver from the top. Well, at least I'll give them one thing. At least they finally used the independent footage for a right thing to further a storyline here, especially with these two. And at least it continued instead of just throwing random stuff together, and with the crowd chanting OVE and everything, almost like a cult type of deal. A cult type of deal to it. It actually made sense in all this. This is how you kind of use the footage here. Some people may not like it with the dark music in the background, but instead of showing some random match from some other promotion, this was a better use of it because it actually had to do with a story. Especially, and then after Sami Callihan pretty much had his camcorder in the back, talking about we're going to take over everything. And as we got into the main event, it was Matt Sydal versus Austn Arries for the Grand Championship. Alberto El Patron was in the back sitting, eating some steak, watching a match on the TV, sitting down. Some people have said at least he, actually sitting down like a human instead of looking at a 90-degree TV screen standing in the back somewhere. He was actually sitting down, observing the match. This was a really great match, really. Austn Arries could almost have a great match with anybody. Him and Sydal pretty much went at it. I did enjoy this match. Did Josh Matthews try to get involved? Yes, until Petey Williams pretty much took him off the ropes. Austn Arries hit him with a drop kick after he dodged the airborne, and then a brainbuster for the win and a discus. Pretty much becoming a new Grand Championship. So add another title. Add another title to Austn Arries' collection right now. I wish the crowd would have got more into this, but this was it was actually a really good match with Austn Arries and Matt Sydal. So yeah, add another belt to Austn Arries' belt collection right now. Pretty much being, I can't even name all the titles he has, to be honest. I know he has, I think, the Rev Pro Championship, the Defiant Championship, the TNA World Championship, the Grand Championship and stuff. So yeah, he has a lot of belts in his collection right now, and there's no stopping Austn Arries at this point in time. So I don't know, and come on, it's supposed to be going off the Ring of Honor Television Championship. So yeah, we'll have to see what goes down from there. Like I said, it was actually a good episode of the show. There was some bad parts here, mostly from the Impact Zone kind of being dead. But Don Callis does seem to be doing a better use of the show, and surprisingly, the viewership has been going up for Impact lately. So that's actually a good sign, and hopefully it keeps that road going and not putting on bullshit. So we'll see what goes down after that. But that's my part of the show. I am out of here. I will see you guys later. Peace out. Comment and subscribe. It's going to be a long week next week for wrestling. So I got to get my head in the A game. So yeah, peace out.